Hello everyone, I'm Manju Sharma from Suresh Ganviar University School of Agriculture. Today we are going to discuss about disease management. Disease management, how we have to manage the disease. In last class we already discussed about like cultural method of disease management and chemicals and the use of chemical like fungicide, proptants, sporulants, etc. Now we are going to discuss about physical method. Physical method in the sense like which type of practices we can done and we can apply in the field. Okay. So there are some techniques by which we can manage the disease. So first is soil solarization or slow soil pasteurization. Pasteurization that means how we can make the soil pure. Pure in the sense like loads of contamination will be not there. Okay. So soil solarization or slow soil pasteurization is the hydrothermal soil heating accomplished by covering most soil with polythene sheets as soil mulch during summer months for 4 to 6 weeks. Like we are providing heat to the soil by using polythene sheet and it is called mulching. Okay, like whenever we will cover the soil with the polythene sheet, then the water content or the vapors which present in the soil, they will be maintained as usual. Okay, that's why we can say that the soil pasteurization is there or soil solarization is there, because due to the covering of the polythene polythene sheet, like the nutrients those are available in the soil, they will be remain same. Okay, and it will take time like 4 to 6 weeks. So it will be also called soil mulch, and basically this kind of practices we have to done during the summer season or during the summer month, because that time the temperature will be very high. So due to that the fertility of the soil will be less, because lots of nutrients they will be evaporate with the water content. So soil solarization was developed for the first time in Israel, Italy and Cotton for the management of plant pathogenic pests, diseases and weeds. Because whenever we will apply the mulching or the polythene sheet, then due to the cover of the soil or the surface of the soil will be covered, so by which soil which will be also generate their heat. Okay, and the sunlight will be there, so due to this the temperature of the soil will be very high. That's why the microorganism like bacteria, fungus, those can't survive at the high temperature, so they will be easily destroyed. Okay, so basically this type of practices first time it was developed in Israel, and after that like all the countries which started following this. Next type of practice is soil sterilization. Sterilization that means how we have to remove the contamination. Okay, so soil can be sterilized in greenhouses and sometimes in seed beds by aerated steam or hot water. That means sterilization, how we have to remove the contamination. Contamination in the sense like what we want to grow in the field, anything except our desire. So they all will be included as a contamination. Okay, so soil can be sterilized in greenhouses and sometimes in seed beds by aerated stem or hot water. Like we will apply the hot water, then all the contamination those will be removed or maybe they will be killed. Sterilization in the sense like in laboratory we sterilized all the things like media, glasswares, all the things firstly we sterilize and after that we use. So sterilization in laboratory, that means remove the contamination and destroy the contamination. So in autoclave, uh, like there will be also the vapor will be generated, and due to the water vapor, due to the steam or the moist heat, the bacteria, fungi, etc., or the microbes those are present there, they all will be killed. So same thing we are using for the soil, like we have to apply the hot water or aerated steam by which the contamination will be removed. Okay, so at about 50 degrees centigrade, nematodes, some umicities, fungi, and other water moles, water moles are killed at about 60 degree and 72 degree. Most of the plant pathogenic fungi and the bacteria are killed. Like if the temperature of the hot water is 50 degrees centigrade, then we can say that all the nematodes those will be removed. Okay, and they will be killed. If the temperature is very high, in that case like the bacteria or the fungi will be also killed. At about 82 degrees centigrade, at about 82 degrees centigrade, most weeds, plant pathogenic bacteria, and insects are killed. Heat tolerant weed seed and some plant viruses, like such as TMV, are killed at or near the boiling point, like 95 to 100 degrees centigrade, because like all the microbes and different microbes, bacteria, fungi, insects, nematode, they all have their optimum temperature. Okay, like there is a basic temperature, only the range of that particular temperature the pathogens can survive, and after that they will be killed. If we will increase the temperature, then they will be killed. So up to 100 degrees centigrade all types of microbes basically killed. Okay, like at 82 degrees centigrade mostly weeds will be destroyed and the seed of the weeds will be destroyed, but exceptionally some weeds may be there. But if we will also increase the temperature again, then they will be also killed. Okay, after that hot water or hot air treatment. Hot water treatment. hot water or hot air treatment. Like hot water treatment of certain seeds, bulbs, and nursery stock is done to kill many pathogens present in or on the seed and other propagating materials. So, firstly, and before showing, we have to give the treatment with the water or with the hot air. Okay, so by which we can also kill the pathogen. Hot water treatment is used for controlling set-borne diseases of sugarcane like white smut, grassy shoot, and red rot of sugarcane. The temperature range, sorry, like 52 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes. So if we will maintain the same temperature like 52 degrees centigrade temperature, then we can remove the pathogen which cause the diseases in sugarcane like white smut or grassy shoot and loose smut of wheat also for the same temperature, but the timing will be different. Like we will give the treatment of hot water and hot air, also destroy. Methods. Now, biological method. Biological method, bio in the sense living. Okay, like living things, those we are using to control the disease, to control the pest, to control the bacteria, fungi, etc. That's why it is categorized as a biological method. So, biological control of plant disease is a condition or practice whereby survival or activity of a pathogen is reduced through the agency of any other living organism. That means to control the living things, to control the pathogen, we are also using the living things. Okay, like to control the fungi we are using the another type of microorganism against them, and they will be also living. That's why it is called biological method. So whereby survival or activity of a pathogen is reduced through the agency of other living organisms except human beings. So, with the result that there is reduction in incidence of the disease which caused by the pathogen. So, it was started from 1965. Biological control is the reduction of inoculum density. Inoculum, that means a particular part of the pathogen by which the pathogen cause the disease. Okay, so that part is called the inoculum by which the pathogen which will be attached with the host. So, reduction of inoculum density or disease producing activity of a pathogen or a parasite in its active or dormant state by one or more organisms accomplished naturally or through manipulation of the environment of host or antagonist by mass introduction of one or more antagonist. That means how we have to reduce the inoculum density, how we can overcome the effect of the pathogen. Okay, and like how we can maintain the dormant state of the pathogen by which they can't cause the disease in the plant. So basically that is a natural types of method because there will be manipulation of the environment or the host or antagonist. Antagonist, that means to inhibit. Two terms are there like agonist or antagonist. Agonist, that means to promote, or antagonist, that means to inhibit. Anta, that means anti, like antibodies, antibiotic. Okay, so here we are using the anti word. That means it will be reduce the capacity, or it will be reduce the inoculum density, by which we can overcome the effect of the inoculum, and it can't cause the disease in the plant. So basically, it was suggested by Baker and Cook in 1974. Then mechanism. Mechanism, in which first thing is the competition. Competition, that means like whenever the microbes, those will be grow, and you know about the growth of the microbes will be very fast. Okay, so most of the biocontrol agents are fast growing, and they compete with plant pathogen for space, because if their growth will be very fast and they are fast growing, then they require space or nutrients. Okay, so they will be compete with the microbes, and during the competition some pathogen, those will be die. Organic nutrients and minerals, because the biocontrol agent also require all the things, like they require space, also require the nutrients and minerals. Okay, iron starvation prevents the germination of spores of fungal pathogens in rhizosphere, as well as rhizoplane, and also some bacteria. Rhizosphere, rhizo, that means root, and sphere, the space, basically the area which covered by the root of the plant. Basically, it is known as rhizosphere, or as well as rhizoplane, and also some bacteria. Those will be compete with the pathogens. Okay. Biocontrol agents produce low molecular weight, 500 to 1000 daltons, iron transport agent, and these are called siderophores. Siderophores like selectively make complex with iron, that is Fe3 plus, with very high affinity. They will be bind with the iron, and after that they will be show their affinity with the iron. Okay, siderophore producing strain are able to utilize Fe3 plus siderophore complex and restrict the growth of deleterious microorganisms, mostly at the plant roots. Siderophores produced by Pseudomonas fluorescens, known as Pseudobacterin or pyroviridins, help in the control of soft rot bacterium, which caused by the Arvina keratovora. Basically, the biocontrol agent, those also secrete different types of toxins, or we can say that like enzyme. Basically, these are the toxin by which they can also inhibit the growth of the other microbes. Then antibiotics, antibiotics, bacteriocins, volatile compounds, and hyperparasitism. These all are including in the mechanism or a type of competition. Like what are the antibioses? Antibioses antagonism mediated by specific or non-specific metabolites of microbial origin by lytic agents, enzyme, volatile compound, or other toxic substances is known as antibiosis. That means they will be shows the antagonism by specific or non-specific metabolites or microbial origin. So they will be inhibit or they will be act as a antagonist. And antibiosis, that means like some material is there which we are using and it is naturally using in the defense mechanism, or uh, they will be inhibit the growth of the microbes. Okay, so antibiosis may be lytic agents, enzymes, volatile compound, etc. After that, what is antibiotics? Antibiotics are generally considered to be organic compound or low molecular weight which produced by microbes. At low concentration, antibiotics are deleterious to the growth or metabolic activities of other microorganisms like antibiotic, which we are using against the living organism. Okay, so at the low concentration, they will be deleterious the growth of the metabolic activities of other microbes. So if metabolic activities are not proper and it's not going on proper, then the pathogen or the any agent which can't cause the disease easily. For example, like Gliocladium virens, which produces gliotoxin that was responsible for the death of it was responsible for the death of Rhizoctonia solani on potato tubers. Like we already discussed that antibiotics, uh, it may be any kind of organic compound and their molecular weight will be low and they will be inhibit the growth of the other microbes or other pathogen. So, for example, like gliotoxin was there, so it was responsible for the death of the Rhizoctonia solani. Then, colonization of pea seeds by Trichoderma viridi resulted in the accumulation of significant amount of the antibiotics. Like Trichoderma viridi, which result the accumulation of significant amount of antibiotic, that is the viridin. So viridin in the seed, thus there is the controlling of Phythium ultimum. Okay. Then some strains of Pseudomonas fluorescens which produce a range of compounds like 2,4 diacetyl Fluoroglucinol, that is DAPG, phenangines, pyocyanin, which have broad spectrum activity against many plant pathogenic bacteria and fungi. Except that there are some chemicals also, chemicals in the sense like some toxins, some enzymes, those released from the microorganism or from the living organism, that is the bacteriocins, volatile compounds, or hyperparasitism. Now let's come to the bacteriocins. So these are the antibiotic like compound with the bactericidal specificity closely related to the bacteriocin producer. Bactericidal specificity, that means to kill the bacteria. Like fungicidal is there or fungicidal specificity is there, that means they will kill the fungi. But here bacteriocins is there, so bacteriocin, that is a type of antibiotic, so it will be kill the bacteria. Example, the control of crown gall disease, which caused by Agrobacterium tumefaciens by the related Agrobacterium radiobacter strain K84, is by the production of bacteriocin. So there is a strain that is K84 is by the production of bacteriocin, agrocin K84. After that, volatile compound like this strain and this material which obtained from the agrobacterium radiobacter. Okay, so by this we can inhibit the bacteria or to kill the bacteria. Then volatile compounds. Volatile compounds, that means antibiosis mediated by volatile compounds has been observed in the management of soil-borne pathogen via Phythium ultimum, Rhizoctonia solani, and Verticillium dahlia by Enterobacter cloacia. So by this volatile compounds, we can manage the soil-borne diseases or soil-borne pathogen. For example, like Phythium ultimum, Rhizoctonia solani, Verticillium dahlia, and also the Enterobacter cloacia. So the volatile fraction which responsible for inhibition was identified as ammonia. Uh, Basically there is a link which is given, so if you want to go for more, then you can go through it about the volatile compounds. Then next is hyperparasitism. Hyper, that means at high, and the level will be very high, and the parasites, those will be feed on the others, or they will be uh, feed on the other, and they will be live on the other organism. Direct parasitism or lysis and death of the pathogen by another microorganism. When the pathogen is in parasitic phase, then it is known as hyperparasitism. Like if like one organism which will be directly feed the particular organism or pathogen. That's why here we are using the direct parasitism, or maybe there will be the lysis of the particular organism or pathogen, and death of the pathogen by another microorganism. So when the pathogen is in parasitic phase, then it will be called as hyperparasitism. Parasitism, that means there will be the relation between two organisms which we can denote by minus minus sign, or by, sorry, plus minus sign, because plus minus, in which the host which will be always in the lows, and the pathogen or the another organism which feeding on the other organism or on the host, then they will be gets the benefit. So the relationship between two organisms, in which the one organism which always gets the harm, and the another which will be always gets the benefit. Okay. So maybe there is the direct parasitism or lysis, and death of the pathogen by another microorganism when the pathogen is in parasitic phase is known as hyperparasitism. For example, Trichoderma herzianum parasite and lies the mycelia of Rhizoctonia and Sclerotium. So there are some examples of biocontrol agents for the management of plant pathogens. Biocontrol agent like Ampelomyces vesquelius, the pathogen which cause the disease is powdery mildew fungi. Another is like the biocontrol agent, that is Diluca phylum. The pathogen is Verticillium licencellae, which cause the disease rust fungi. But the biocontrol agent, that is Diluca, so it can control the Verticillium. Okay. Then third is the Picinia. The pathogen is Botrytis. Biocontrol agent, that is the bacteria Pasteuria penetrans, and the nematode juvenile parasite of root knot nematode. So we can control by this biocontrol agent. Then Bacillomyces linensinus, that is a fungus and egg parasite of Meloidogyne incognita. So this pathogen or this nematode which can control by the biocontrol agent, so that is a fungus which also used as a biocontrol agent. Now, there is important fungal biocontrol agents like most of the species of Trichoderma, like Trichoderma herzianum, Trichoderma viride, Trichoderma virens, are used as a biocontrol agent. Trichoderma herzianum, Trichoderma viride, Trichoderma virens are used as a biocontrol agents against the soil-borne diseases. Soil-borne diseases, basically those will be spread through the soil, such as root rots, seedling rots, collar rots, dumping off, and wilts, which caused by the species of Phythium, Fusarium, Rhizoctonia, Macrophomina, Sclerotium, verticillium, etc. Like root rot, which goes by the phythium, seedling rots, collar rots, and damping off, which goes by the fusarium, wilt disease, which goes by the rhizoctonia, macrophomia, etc. After that, formulations of biocontrol agents available: Trichoderma viride, G. virens in USA, Trichoderma hercenium, and Trichoderma polyisporum. Then, some important bacterial biocontrol agents: Pseudomonas fluorescens, damping off of cotton seedling in USA, Bacillus subtilis, Kodiak against damping off and soft rot in USA. Agrobacterium radiobacter, that is K84, Galax or Galtrol against crown gall of stone fruits, which caused by the Agrobacterium tumefaciens. So, this is all about biological method, like how we can control the diseases, how we can manage the diseases by using different types of living material or biocontrol agents. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
Cultural method of plant disease management. So, firstly, general principles in which, like avoidance, exclusion, eradication, protection, disease resistant, that is also called immunization. So let's come avoidance. Avoiding disease by planting at times when or in areas where inoculum is ineffective due to environmental conditions or is rare or absent. Exclusion of inoculum, preventing the inoculum from entering or establishing in the field or area where it does not exist. Eradication, like reducing, inactivating, eliminating, or destroying inoculum at the source, either from a region or from an individual plant in which it is already establishment. Then protection, preventing infection by creating a chemical toxic barriers between the plant surface and the pathogen. Disease resistant, that is also called immunization. Basically, it preventing infection or reducing effect of infection by managing the host through improvement of resistance in it by genetic manipulation or by chemical therapy. Then avoidance of the pathogen. These methods aim at avoiding the control and the contact between the pathogen and susceptible stage of the crop. So this is achieved by proper selection of geographical area, wet areas and dry areas, Secondly, proper selection of the field in which the sick field or same crop year after year. Then, adjusting the time of sowing, avoidance of favorable environmental conditions for pathogen, disease escaping varieties in which resistant or specific growth characteristics, and proper selection of seed and planting material in which seed and seedling material from healthy sources. Then exclusion of the pathogen. So these measures aim at preventing the inoculum from entering the establishing in the field or area where it does not exist. Different methods of exclusion are like the seed treatment, seed infection, seed inspection, and certification, and the crops grown for seed purpose are inspected periodically for the presence of diseases that are disseminated by seed. Necessary precautions are to be taken to remove the diseased plant in early stages, and then the crop is certified and the disease free. This practice will help in the prevention of inter and intra-regional spread of seed-borne diseases. Plant quarantine regulation, a legal restriction on the movement of agricultural commodities for the purpose of exclusion, prevention, or delaying the spread of the plant pests and diseases in uninfected areas. Then, eradication. Eradication. These methods aim at breaking the infection chain by removing the foci of infection and starvation of the pathogen. For example, like annihilation of the pathogen from the area by destruction of sources of primary and secondary inoculum, and it is achieved by like rogging, that means removal of diseased plants or their affected organs from field. Then eradication of alternate and collateral host, crop rotation, crop sanitation, collection and destruction of plant debris from soil, and manures and fertilizers. So, the deficiency or excess of a nutrient may predispose a plant to some diseases. Mixed cropping, root rot of cotton, that is Phytotrichum omnivorum, is reduced when cotton is grown along with sorghum. Summer plugging, summer months expose soil to hot weather, soil amendments like application of organic amendments like sawdust, straw oil cake, etc. effectively manage the disease. So they also allow growth straw, oil cake, etc. effectively manage diseases. They also allow growth of beneficial microorganisms, thus the suppression of pathogenic microbes. Then the changing time of sowing, seed rate and plant density, like Close spacing raises atmospheric humidity and favors the sporulation by many pathogenic fungi. Seed rate and plant density. Close spacing raises atmospheric humidity and favors the sporulation by many pathogenic fungi. Irrigation and drainage, the amount, frequency, and the method of irrigation. Protection, use of chemicals for the control of plant diseases to stop the pathogen from entering the host or checking the further development in already infected plants. The chemicals used are called proctants, therapeutants, and therapy. Therapy means cure of disease in which the fungicide is applied after the pathogen is in contact with the host. Chemicals used are called therapeutants. Fungicide, any agent or chemical that kills the fungus. Fungicide, that means some chemicals which do not kill fungi but simply inhibit the fungus growth temporarily. Antisporulent, the chemical which inhibit the spore production without affecting vegetative growth of the fungus. So basically, these all types of chemical which used in the production. So the therapeutants, the chemicals which use in the therapy, the fungicide which kill the fungus, the fungicide which stop or inhibit the growth of the fungus, and antisporulent which inhibit the spore production. Thank you.